The Immortal John Hancock here, and talking about the Atari VCS. 4.5 years after its release, I do a video like this every 6 months, and I've done that since launch. And you know what? They've been popular on my channel, as not many people have picked one of these up. And I have a unique perspective because the video today, this is coming from a publisher and an enthusiast. And so I'm a big Atari fan. I work with them quite a bit. And I picked this up on the Indiegogo campaign and didn't think it was going to be shipped to me. And lo and behold, 4.5 years ago in December, it came. And we're here to talk about it 4.5 years later. And for many people, you may not realize that the Atari VCS is still out there on the market. Atari still sells it on their website. It's currently not in sale as of the time of this video. You can get the base model for like $160 and you can get the all-in-one for $200. From time to time it is on sale, as I know many viewers have picked this up on previous sales when it drops below $100. And so for many people, it's not your daily driver. This is a weird PC console hybrid. And so it has its own marketplace in which, as of the post of this video, 208 games have been offered on its own marketplace, but you also can go into PC mode and you can emulate several different platforms. It's a light Steam machine. You can play Steam games on the PC side if you choose to go that way. I'm really here just to talk about the console side and my thoughts about it, but definitely let's jump right in. So 4.5 years is a long time for a console that hasn't done well. Okay, this hasn't been a success. Current Atari management took this over from previous management, and it just kind of sputtered along. Let's be honest here. This is an enthusiast machine at best, and I'm just here to say, hey, this is what its current offerings are. This is what's going on with the Atari VCS, and uncertain future. For the last 6 months, Atari has released about 22 games on this platform from independent companies, their own games. And you know what? It's kind of a mixed bag. Okay, I think there's a lot of positive news though to say that Atari has still published some of their own games, and we'll talk about that. I think first and foremost, the good news is that Atari has still offered some of their games on the platform, not all of them. The big ones being iRobot. There's a remake of iRobot on several other platforms, and I did a video on this. I did a video on the Switch version, and it's done by Jeff Minter. So if you're a Jeff Minter fan, definitely it's well worth picking up. It was delayed for the Atari VCS, but eventually it then got released. So it's pretty awesome that this is offered on the Atari VCS for a reasonable price. And then the other one is Breakout Beyond. And so Breakout Beyond is kind of a modern take of Breakout. It has a long history of development. It was, I do believe, initially planned for the Amico, but it changed a lot of things in the game and eventually came out multiple platform. And the Atari VCS version does include paddle support with the classic joystick. I've talked about the classic joystick in the past. I have mixed feelings about this. It's not my favorite controller, if I'm being honest, but a lot of people are fans of it. I think the top joystick is a little bit too loose, at least for mine, since I've had it since launch. And it's all right, though. I think I give Atari a nod for at least trying to make something new with a classic Atari joystick design. Might as well talk about the other controller. This is my original controller that I've had, and because I don't play my Atari VCS daily, it doesn't get a lot of wear and tear, so it's still in good working condition. I haven't had any issues with either one of these wireless controllers, and yeah, so there's that. So let's jump back into the other big news of the last 6 months. Is Atari did a campaign in which they offered a plethora of free games from a developer, and you know what? Several of these games our 2600 homebrew games. So Atari the VCS was offering kind of a promotion of free 2600 homebrew games from a particular company, and it was pretty awesome. Some of them were better than others. Looking here at some of the games here, Galactic Invasion, Jutland Skies, Meow 2, and or just to name a few of them. And so, you know what? For free, it's a great offering. And so I've talked in the past about I wish that Atari VCS did more with offering homebrew games. And this was a weird thing, and I think it had a lot to do with the publisher, and they wanted to do a campaign with Atari, and they did. And so and they're still available now. You can download these on your VCS for free. So if you're looking for just some homebrew aftermarket games for the 2600, you can check these out, and I think it's a good offering. So that's cool. Free 2600 games, who wouldn't want that? So that's pretty awesome. The other big release, at least for me, was Looney Landers. And so that was from the same developer, Donut Dodo and Cash Cow. So that publisher really does some amazing arcade style games, and Looney Landers is a fun release. And so that to me was one of my favorite releases of the last 6 months. And you know what? Because the releases have kind of slowed down. I'm going to be honest here. Okay, the Atari VCS now offers, I think, 208 games, and 22 releases in the last 6 months isn't a lot, but they're still kind of chugging along and releasing some games. So that's pretty awesome. Also, I have some news about my own release game, and that's Blockam Sockum. And this was the 7800 release programmed by Daryl Gunther. And you know what? He did an amazing job. So he went back knowing that the Atari VCS version wasn't able to produce Yamaha sound through their emulation, or they were having trouble doing that. And so he went back and reprogrammed the game and was able to fit in pokey sound. That's right. So the VCS is the first version of this to offer pokey sound. That's right. You can hear pokey sound now through Blockam Sockum with a free update. So if you purchase it, you will now hear pokey sound. I tried it. Here it is. Oh, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? Oh, that's sweet. So anyway, it's pretty awesome to work with Atari and to be able to offer this with pokey sound on the VCS is a nice bonus. So it's nice. It has been fairly seamless to work with Atari. In the past, I've promoted Antstream Arcade, and overall, I was satisfied with the service. It used to be free. Now it costs $7.99 a month. And so there's not like a package where you can just purchase a license. And so for the VCS version, and that's a little confusing. And so it is a streaming service. If you're looking for a way to play additional games, you may want to go that route. It's less probably desirable now that it's now costing a monthly service. But at least it's still filling in some niches, filling in some games that aren't offered in a more traditional setting. And so you can download and play a lot of arcade, Amiga, homebrew, and aftermarket games, hundreds of games. And so that isn't a route. It does cost now. So there's that. And so, yeah, I want to bring that up and say that the Antstream Arcade service on the VCS is still a good option, but it's less of a good option now that it costs a monthly service. So that's what I have to say about that. And going back to Atari. So my hardware, I haven't had a problem. The releases are slowing down a bit. I definitely feel that. And the future of the VCS is uncertain. Atari hasn't made big announcements yet. What are they going to do with this platform? At some point, it's going to conclude its run. Right now it's not on sale. Two big releases coming from Atari are not planned for the VCS. That's Missile Command Delta and Fatal Run 2089. And so those are two big releases I know many people are looking forward to. Not planned to be on the VCS. It could be a processing power issue, especially for Fatal Run 2089. But definitely for Missile Command Delta, it looks like a game that the VCS could possibly handle. So I don't know what that's about. It could be something else. But yeah, the future is uncertain for the VCS. I do not know how much longer it's going to be on the market. I do not know what else Atari has planned for it. But it kind of seems like if Atari had something planned for this, they would have announced something. We do have the holidays coming up. Atari is in good shape financially. Recently, there was news that they're doing better than they have in the previous 10 years. So Atari has the ability to maybe offer something for the VCS or to do something with that hardware. And I think if Atari was going to do something with this, they would have done it already. But who knows? What does Atari have in store for the VCS? I think if they were going to do something, they would have already done it. And it'll be interesting to see moving forward. I know Atari is going to be focusing on continuing to offer additional Plus consoles. And you know what? I don't know what's planned for, and I'm sure they're going to announce it as it gets sooner to the holiday releases. And where does the VCS stand? Well, I think it stands where it is now. It's going to be continued to be offered, occasionally on sale, and I think releases are going to sputter out. There's still some third-party releases planned for this, and fingers crossed that they actually come out. And that's it. The update is pretty simple. The VCS is still around. If you have one, check out what it has to offer. There's several free games. You may want to download and check those out if that's up your alley. Otherwise, I don't know. It's weird talking about this right before the launch of the Switch 2, as you know what, the VCS is a very kind of controversial release for Atari. It's had a lot of ups and downs, but I'm thankful it's still around. Atari's still supporting it 4.5 years later, and that should be at least commended. Anyways, in the comments, let me know. What do you think of the VCS? Do you have one? Have you turned it on recently? There's been several updates and new games. And if you like this video, thank you so much, and please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.